Hey guys, Brandon here again. Um, some new developments on the supercharging front. Tesla has expanded on its charging structure and algorithms um, on its supercharger network. So all Teslas that are purchased all new Teslas that are purchased after January 15th, 2017 will have credits towards approximately 1,000 miles or 400 kilowatt hours of energy to be used or taken from superchargers. After that, you'll be charged. And so we've all been kind of wondering like how that's going to be structured. So they've laid that out recently. A couple of interesting things to note. First of all, is that they said they're committed to not making a profit on this. That the prices that they charge for the electricity that goes into the cars is less than what it costs them to deliver that electricity in different regions, and electricity cost a different amount depending on what state and what region you're in, and so the charging schemes and prices will be different on a state by state basis. But anyway, Tesla is reiterating that, they actually say that the supercharger network will never be a source of profit. So it will be a source of income to offset some of that cost and also discourage overutilization, I guess we'll say. Kind of like the theory behind copays, actually, in medical insurance. So yeah, it'll be a source of income, but not a source of profit. So let's see here. Now the pricing structure. They said they'd have to set up two different ways. The simplest way, which is the one that they prefer, is charging per kilowatt hour, and so that's a fair rate. You receive more electricity, you pay more. Doesn't matter how long you're there or how fast you're charging. But apparently there's some like the way regulations are in certain states, they can't do that in all states, including mine, which is Michigan. And I suspect that has something to do with, technically, if you're selling electricity to somebody, you are an energy provider, and energy providers are highly regulated. I suspect it has something to do with that. But anyway, regardless of that, for states that they're not allowed to sell it by the kilowatt hour, and by the way, they also said that they're working to change these regulations to, bring stuff up to speed. And this is a significant number of states, actually. They have a drop-down menu where you can check the price for any state. And so I went through all of them. And a lot of them, like I said, including Michigan, have this different charging structure. And that is by time. So it'll be per minute of charging, which is not new. Some other slow chargers do that, actually. The problem comes where, so most of the time the supercharger is charging fast, you're getting a lot of power, but there are times where it's charging slower. Perhaps you're sharing an A and a B charger, and so it drops your kilowatts that you're getting, or as you get towards the end of your battery, it also drops the kilowatts and gives you less energy over time. So to prevent overcharging of people, overcharging in terms of money, they have a two-tier system. So tier 1, which is the more expensive tier or charging rate, will be applied at sorry, no. Tier 1 is going to be the cheaper one, sorry. And that will be applied at or below 60 kilowatts. And remember, superchargers, the current ones, can go up to a max of about 120 kilowatts. Although I don't know if any car has ever received that. The most I've seen is like 115, maybe 118 or something. And then tier 2, which is more expensive, will apply charging above 60 kilowatts. And tier 2 is also specifically twice as expensive as tier 1. So for example, my tier in Michigan here is 16 cents per minute for tier 2. So that's the high speed above 60 kilowatt charging. And then tier 1 is 8 cents per minute. And I can't really do the math offhand as to like, okay, how fast am I charging, and how, I don't know. 16 cents per minute. I think probably when I'm charging fast, I'm probably getting about a kilowatt hour per minute, maybe more. I don't remember. So that would be pretty reasonable, getting a kilowatt hour for 16 cents. That's actually what I pay at home. Average, actually it might be closer to somewhere between 12 and 16, I forget, because I have winter and summer rates and stuff like that. And then 8 cents once it slows down per minute. So yeah, that's going to be hard to calculate, because I mean, to fully charge my battery, it takes like an hour and a half. To charge it to 50%, it probably takes, I don't know, 20 minutes or something like that. To get it to 80%, it probably takes 30 minutes. So I'll have to do some tests to figure that out. Anyway, just to give you an idea of some other states, California, you're able to purchase it by kilowatt hour. That's 20 cents. Compare that to Washington, which is 11 cents per kilowatt hour. That's quite cheap. The most expensive one I found was Massachusetts, coming in at 22%, 22 cents per kilowatt hour. So that's fairly pricey, and compared to like charging at home. So anyway, yeah, I was very curious about what this was going to turn out to be. I was kind of guessing around 20 cents. I thought that was kind of a liberal estimate. I thought it was going to be a little bit less than that, and it looks like it is for a lot of states, but it's not. It looks like it's hovering around 15 to 20 cents per kilowatt hour, which is reasonable. So the way I calculated a trip to from here in Michigan to the West Coast is about 25,000 miles, and in good weather, so like when I was driving in June, I think, I got I don't know, somewhere around 300, maybe 320 watt hours per mile. So I'll multiply that times 0.32. So that means I used about 800 kilowatt hours going out. That's probably a conservative estimate. So let's say I was being charged 20 cents. So times 20 cents. That's $160 each way. And Tesla, on their write-up, they said they estimated it would cost about $120 to go from LA to New York City. Yeah, Los Angeles to New York, $120. So I think that's a little bit on the low side. That's kind of assuming some very efficient driving, or conditions too, I guess. Usually it doesn't quite work out that way. But anyway, so let's see. So for a round trip for me to go to Michigan and to California and back to Michigan would be about $300 to $350, which is really reasonable. That's that's not like a trip cancel or anything like that. So I was one thing I was thinking about, the part of the fun is going to these superchargers on the trips and stuff like that, and the fact that it's free and unlimited kind of makes up for the fact that it's that you sit there for a while, and that it's definitely longer than just barreling through with a gas car, because you do have to stop about every hour and a half, whereas I can be comfortable driving a gas car for 3 hours and then stop for maybe 10 or 15 minutes, regardless of all the arguments of whether that's healthy, good, or whatever. But it is a fact that many people travel that way. Anyway, getting back to the topic, the fact that it was free and just kind of the fun of the whole game made up for the fact that I was investing more time instead of getting to my destination. What was I? Oh yeah. So and now that at least part of that trip will be, if I do that trip again, you know, I could the free allotment would cover about half of that, and then I would be paying for the rest of it. Let's say I was paying for the whole thing, so it wouldn't, you know, it wouldn't quite feel the same. It would be fine, but what would make up for it in the future, I think, is having ultra fast supercharging. So if I am paying for it, I'm really looking forward to version 2 or version 3, ultra fast supercharging, where, you know, there's a supercharger in Kansas. Kansas gets a lot of wind, and my efficiency of driving goes quite a bit down to the point where I'm using like 400 watt hours per mile, trying to maintain like 70, 75 mile hour traveling, which is, you know, that's the speed limit out there, is like 75. So I have to, there's one charger, I think it's in Hayes, where I routinely, I've been there like 4 times. I have to charge for like 40 minutes just to get to the next supercharger. And, you know, that's kind of a bummer, but again, you know, it's free and it's kind of fun, so that kind of makes up for it. But in the future, if I'm paying for that, you know, I definitely want to be able to, you know, knock that time in half. Maybe get 350, 400 kilowatt power going to the vehicle, charge in like 15, 20 minutes, just have enough time to, you know, go to the bathroom, get something to eat, and then boom, car's ready to go when I get back, instead of having to kill some time there. So in the future, I think things will even out, and, you know, despite having to pitch in for the charge, despite being charged for charging, it'll be ultra fast in the future, and that'll be really fun. So anyway, I just wanted to get this video out there because I'm at work right now, and I was heading home, and I just saw this up on Tesla's Twitter feed, so I was like, oh, I gotta make a video about that. So anyway, hope you guys enjoy this, and I'll see you in the next video.